Everybody. Today I will introduce to you some information about my topic for research. Now I'm a teacher of English as a second language in one high school in Vietnam, and there are many students in my class, over 40 students in a class, and the time for each class is only 45 minutes. So I tend to give feedback to the whole class as one-way communication. And through time, I realized that my students don't pay attention to my feedback and their learning isn't improved. They still make the same mistake in their subsequent tests. So this urged me to find out another way to give feedback more effectively, and I think of sustainable feedback. So my topic is the impact of sustainable feedback on grade 10 students' writing performance and their attitude toward feedback sections. And I tried to find out some related articles via ERIC database, Google Scholar, Sage or Taylor and Francis online, as well as Lakehead University Library. And first, I found some definitions of sustainable feedback. For example, according to Gates et al. 2016, it is a continuous process with further steps to achieve learning objectives, or according to Housel 2007, cited in Brown and Molloy 2013, it is attention to equip students to learn prospectively. And there are many types of sustainable feedback, such as dialogic feedback proposed by Callis et al. 2011, self-feedback in Hunt 2016, peer feedback in Iron et al. 2019, as well as assessment test suggested by Callis et al. 2011, or iterative assessment in Morel 2021. In terms of dialogic feedback, according to Callis et al. 2011, it is an interactive exchange between teacher and students. In other words, it is a two-way communication so that students can be actively involved in their feedback process as well as their learning. In other words, according to Much et al. 2018, it is the co-construction between teacher and students. Both teacher and students can work together to find out mistakes and take strategies to improve their learning. And the second type of sustainable feedback is self-feedback. To Morel 2021, this kind of sustainable feedback can help students be more responsible as well as reflective for their learning. And it is also the training for students' self-regulation and give clues to teachers to adjust their teaching according to Hunt 2016. With peer feedback to Nikon and McClendick 2006, this feedback can help students to develop their judgment when they give feedback to their friends, so it can be more motivational during the feedback process. And in addition, according to Iron et al. 2019, this is the collaborative learning among students. Students can help together to improve their learning, so they can gain higher order thinking skills, leading to their self-regulated learning. And the final type of sustainable feedback is assessment test, suggested by Callis et al. 2011. And these tests can be two-stage assessments or iterative tests For example, students are required to give their oral presentation, and after receiving feedback, then they can resubmit their written report after that. According to Callis et al. 2011, assessment tasks can be portfolios and projects, which have similar functions. And finally, according to Morel 2011, iterative assessment can be considered sustainable feedback. In other words, students are allowed to resubmit their tasks after they receive feedback. And such sustainable feedback can give a lot of positive impacts according to some previous research. For example, according to Callis et al. 2011 and Ngoc et al. 2018, students can know what good performance is so that they can evaluate their own performance and adjust their learning strategies to improve their performance later. This can lead to their self-evaluative capacity as well as self-regulation learning. Besides that, to Ngoc et al. 2018, such sustainable feedback can give students forward-feeding so that they can know how to improve their subsequent performance. This can lead to their ongoing lifelong learning, according to Callis et al. 2011. Moreover, to Barrow and Malloy 2013, as well as Callis et al. 2011, with sustainable feedback, students can be involved in the feedback processes as well as their learning actively and over time. Finally, to Ngoc and McFarland 2006, with sustainable feedback, students can gain positive motivational belief as well as their self-esteem. And as a result, to some research like Morel 2011 and Ngoc et al. 2018, students can improve their academic performance. And in terms of attitude toward feedback sections, there were some mixed results. For example, in Ngoc et al. 2018 and Canabrate et al. 2019, the students could gain positive attitudes toward the feedback sections. However, in Nguyen et al. 2021, the students were not willing to take active role in feedback processes. So I want to conduct the research to examine whether such sustainable feedback can improve my students' academic performance as well as their attitude towards my feedback sections in my own context. And in terms of the model of the theory applied in my research, I will take the model of self-regulated learning by Teresa and Pinchich, 1991. And this model is also taken by Nicole and McFadden 2006, as well as Callis et al. 2011 as a theoretical framework for designing sustainable feedback. In other words, sustainable feedback aims to boost students' self-regulation to improve their learning. And to this model, self-regulation is an active and constructive process whereby students can set their goals of learning and they can know how to monitor, regulate, and control their cognition during their learning. And they also know how to elaborate their learning strategies, as well as their effort management strategies to meet their goal. So self-regulation can positively engage students' cognition in their learning, as well as improve their intrinsic motivation. Cognitive engagement and intrinsic motivation can be considered as mediating variables to improve their learning. This can lead to the improvement in academic achievement as well as their positive learning attitude. That's all for my presentation, and thank you for your attention.